How to set up your calendar for the first time and go high level. In this video, that's what we're going to do today. I feel like I've done so many of these videos, but I just wanted to do a new one because the landscape, the look kind of made some changes. So I have a few other advanced tutorials as well too, so make sure to watch the playlist to keep watching these videos. But today, if you're brand spanking new and you need to set up your go high level calendar, I've removed Calendly. I was using Calendly for many years, but again, like, subscriptions just totally add up, right? So hopefully, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe, of course. But let's get right into setting up your first go high level calendar. So in the settings section, if you didn't watch my other video in integrations, you want to make sure to already go in here, and it kind of looks like this. Or if you don't have it set up yet, it just says sign in with Google. You want to make sure to sign in with Google if you have a Google Calendar and sync your Google account. Make sure that's already done. And then what we're going to do is go to calendars. And what we're going to do is create a new calendar. So this is a demo account here. So I'm going to create a new one in the top right hand corner here. There are a whole different options here. If you're setting up your own personal calendar for one-on-one meetings, that's usually where we're going to get started. If you have a sales team, though, I actually used to just get started here, even if you don't have a sales team yet, but you plan on having additional people where you're going to round robin your sales calls. Definitely use that one. If you're going to host meetings with multiple participants, like a webinar, group training, online classes, you can use this class booking one, and you can also do collective booking. So if you have multiple hosts that meet with one participant, so one of my business partners and we would actually do meetings where people could book on the calendar, but we wanted to both be there as well, and it would coordinate both of our calendars. So it would give the prospect times that they could book that they will have both of us. So in the example here, you could do interviews, committee reviews, maybe you're hiring and doing a group interview. There are additional types for events. If you're doing a public event at a physical location, if you have a spa or a repair service or consultations type of thing, you can use the service booking. So I normally just do the round robin one as the example. So you're going to name your calendar name here. So I can call it test calendar. Maybe it's your name, it's your specific calendar. You could have a description, you don't need to. If you click on here, I only have one user in this account here, so I'm just going to add myself, but you would have multiple users. You could add multiple team members in there. This is very important. The custom URL has to be distinct. It's actually go high level wide. So it has to be unique is what I mean. So it would have to be test calendar. As you can see, it says slug is already taken. So I have to keep going and make maybe a whole unique link path there. So there you go. Duration, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, however long you want these meetings to be, 1 hour. You can change this later as well. And then this as well is the booking availability. You can have more advanced times here, but we are going to just click on confirm and then go into more of the advanced settings. And then we go into the advanced settings here. So under meeting details, you can put your calendar logo here. This needs to be 180 pixels by 180 pixels. So it's very tiny if you want to have a picture there. And I'm going to leave, usually I just leave it blank. You can have a little description. You could make a group. And actually I'll go over that in more advanced features, but you probably won't use the group unless you're like combining a whole bunch of different calendars in one. And I'll show you an example of that later. But usually I leave that blank if you're just doing it for yourself. Meeting invite title. So that's going to show up in your calendar, like what the meeting is. So normally I have the person or the prospect's name plus the name of the meeting with Stacia. Or if there's a certain type of meeting, you can type in what that meeting is. And then I like to see the client's name of who I'm meeting with. And also I like to have my name there so they know who they're meeting with. Optimize for availability. If you're doing the round robin, grab some water. If you're doing the round robin, you're going to optimize for availability. Optimize for equal distribution if you want to make sure each person has a chance to get a lead. You can have set priorities if you have multiple people in here. If it's just me, it's going to be I'm the highest priority, baby. And then custom, you can have a custom link here, or if you connect your Zoom afterwards, you can sync your Zoom here. I don't have my Zoom in here yet, but you may have to just save the settings and come back and connect that once that you connect the Zoom account. Right now for custom, I actually have a Zoom link, so I just put that in there. You can have the color of the event, whatever color you want. If you're having it at a specific location, you can actually put in the address there. Next is availability. So you're going to go ahead and this is the calendar availability. You want to make sure that this is the days and times you want to take these types of calls on this calendar, but this also is different than your actual availability. Maybe I only want to be available for these types of calls on Mondays and Fridays. You can set up your availability for the calendar itself, but maybe I am available at my actual availability on my actual profile, where I'll show you in a minute too where to set that. You are available on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but you're not available for this type of calls on this calendar. So that's why it's you're updating the availability in the calendar is different than what your availability is. Maybe you want every single day, but if you have a whole team of people and your actual myself, a calendar itself, and other people may be available on other days, but maybe I don't want to take calls on these other days, and that's going to be set up in my actual personal availability, but this is the calendar availability. I don't know why people would want this, but I guess it was requested. So if you want to look busy, you can hide a certain percentage of slots. If you have recurring meetings, you can set that up here. Meeting intervals is how many intervals, or what the time frame. So like every 30 minutes is going to show an interval of 30-minute time slots, 30-minute duration. If I wanted to start the meetings at the 15-minute mark, it would be every 15 minutes. If we change that to 15. Meeting duration is the amount of time for the meeting. Minimum scheduling notice. So if I didn't want to have any notice of, and they can book like at any time, they can book in 1 hour if they wanted to, if that's available. But if I want to, usually what I do is do 12 hours, so I at least have a 12-hour heads up when someone books a call. They can't book within 12 hours of the time they're looking at that calendar. The date range also is something I usually like to do 4 days. And I don't want to, people forget that they even booked a meeting after 4 days. If you want to make your availability longer though, you're more than welcome to do that. My suggestion is 4. If you want to make sure, like maybe you're super busy and you want to open up the next 2 weeks so they can book later in the week, you can do that here too under the date range. Maximum bookings per day. If you want to double book, I have a client that sometimes people tend to not stick to their appointment, so sometimes it's actually good to double book, and then whoever shows up first can get the call. But that's maximum bookings per slot. So if you wanted to double book yourself, you could actually do that, but usually want to click on one. And then maximum bookings per day. Say you only want to take 1 or 2 calls a day, and you don't want people booking 8 calls or 10 calls per day, you can set that availability. But if you're in a group, you want to probably get the maximum amount of calls any day of the week that you want to. Just leave that blank. Pre-buffer and post-buffer is the amount of minutes. Maybe you want to have breaks in between the calls so they're not back to back. So usually I put like a 10 or 15-minute buffer before and after each appointment, so it won't book you back to back. The next one is forms and payments. You could actually have a different set of questions. This is a default form, so you do have to request first name, last name, email, phone number, and notes. But if you wanted to, you could create a different form, ask more questions, and add that here. So that's in another section under sites and forms. You'd have to customize a new form and then add it here. Step 1, and this is the order. So they actually pick a time and date, and then they fill out this form. If you wanted to switch them, you could do that too. Pre-populate fields, sticky contacts. That means if you turn that on, if their name and email is like already in their like cookies, it'll automatically pull it. Usually just leave that off. Consent checkbox, you want to keep that on, especially if you have a phone number, and that just confirms that they are, you know, wanting to get text messages reminders. If you want to have the ability to add guests, you can turn that on. If they have a spouse or partner that they want to add to the appointment, you can do that. Confirmation page. This is the default message. So after they fill out the booking information, they book the calendar, they'll get this message. So I always was wondering one time someone was able to find my phone number because I didn't take this off. So this message will show up for them right after they book a call. If you want to change that, you can edit it and you can just delete the rest of it. Just thank you for your request. Or you can also redirect it to another page. Maybe you create another funnel with a specific thank you page with other instructions, so you can redirect that and put the URL right there to that page. If you're doing Facebook ads, you can add your Facebook pixel. This automatically confirms a new calendar appointment meeting, that after they book, it's confirmed. You could actually turn it off and not have it auto confirm, and so you would have to, you know, take an extra step to make sure that they confirm the appointment. So I usually leave that on. And then accept payments. If you wanted to, you could actually accept payments for the appointment and have that turned on. I'm in my demo account, so I don't have Stripe on, but that's why it's not like toggling over. But you have to connect your Stripe account or some kind of payment processor, and then they can actually take the payment and you can set the amount of how much that call would cost them to book the call. Notifications. They just recently added this, and this is another reason why I decided to redo this video, because I probably done this 100 times. So not only on my YouTube channel, but sending it to clients and customers to show them how to set this up. But this is another new feature. So I usually leave these on. So appointment booked status in app unconfirmed notifies that an appointment is booked and it's unconfirmed status, but it's always confirmed in our situation. We always leave that on. And so also this one is in app too, the confirmed appointment status. Now I'm going to show you in another video how to turn on or how to set up the workflow automation so that you get reminders and the customer gets reminders, but you could also have these additional reminders turned on. I'll leave them off for now, and then I'll also turn this on. So allow Google Outlook Calendar to send invitation and updates. I like this because I just think it's the best practice. A lot of people still use their Google Calendar or Outlook calendar, so they'll get that in their calendar as well as email notifications. That I'll show you that we can set up custom email reminders. Assign contact to respective calendar team members. If you're doing a round robin and you want to make sure that when they get booked, they are also assigned to each time to the same person, you can turn that on. Allow rescheduling of meetings. If you want to, you can leave those on. I turn them off typically, but if you leave them on the bottom inside the additional notes, they put the link in there so that they can reschedule or cancel inside of their Google Calendar, and they'll be able to see that in the notes. Also, in another video, I'll show you how to actually add additional notes. Maybe you have a custom form and you have them answer certain questions and you want to be able to see that in the additional notes. I have another video for that. Customizations, calendar cover image, another area that you can put in that logo or some kind of image at the top of the way that the calendar style looks like. You can change the colors here. You can turn it on and off the description and titles. You can enter in more custom code if you really want to customize the look of the calendar. If you want to have people have the ability to select certain staff members and they want to book a call with a certain person, you can turn that on too. And that's it for calendars. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Actually, it's not it. I'm going to show you one more thing. When you finish that and you save it, if you click on these three dots here, the action, you can actually click on share and you have a link ready to go. So you can copy and paste this and send it out and people can start scheduling. It is a very long link, but you can, do one like a shortener or create a redirect so that's easier for you to like remember or type it in. But you can literally send someone this long link and it's your calendar is ready to go. You can also do a one-time link or a embed code. You can embed that calendar on your website. And also, just like forms, when you create a funnel, you could actually go to the element section and bring in this specific calendar that you want to on a funnel page or website. All right, that went, I know it's a lot to cover. I always try to want to make these short, so hopefully that you understand how to create your first calendar. Go and set up your first calendar and go high level and replace another subscription today. All right, thanks for watching. Much love and aloha.